grab a seat, sip some wisdom, and stay a while. This is the Prosperity Lounge, where growth gets personal.
Welcome to the Prosperity Lounge, where hope meets freedom and growth gets personal. I'm your host, Joey Ruffalo. What if the lowest point in your life wasn't the end, but the start of something greater than you could imagine? For me, man, that moment came shivering under a cold shower from a garden hose without heat or lights, staring at $370,000 in debt, wondering if I'd ever climb out. For my guest tonight, it was addiction. And a rock bottom so deep, she didn't think she could see a way forward. I'm Joey Ruffalo, best-selling author, business growth strategist, and someone who knows that prosperity is about far more than your bank account. It's about freedom in every area of your life. Each week, we bring real people, real stories, and real tools to help you take your next step towards breakthrough. Tonight, I am joined by Jessica Strunk. You might know her as Gracie's mom from Baked by Grace. Man, that was our first episode. Fantastic. Or you may know her as the top-selling producer in East Tennessee real estate. But what I admire most is the way she shows up for people, her encouragement, her heart, and her faith. So let's pull up a chair and welcome Jessica to the lounge. Let's get you on there. Perfect. Jessica, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. So if you're tuning in tonight live on 96.3, thank you very much. If you're tuning in on YouTube at the Prosperity Lounge, thank you. If you're watching on Facebook, thanks. Join in the comments. Let's have some fun. Let's try to keep... This is going to be a deep episode, so when I say have some fun, like I'm trying to keep it light, but this is going to be some good stuff. Thank you for agreeing to come on the show. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
When I reached out to you, it was about something totally different, a totally different topic. And you wrote back and said, no, I don't want to talk about that.
So nobody wants to hear about real estate.
I was thinking everybody wanted to. The market's crazy, the interest rates, pick some brain, what's a good time to buy, show me some properties. And you're like, no, I do not want to talk about real estate. Instead, I want to talk about my journey and this really deep topic. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I admire you for that. Thank you again.
It's a long time coming.
Yeah, it is. We don't realize when... Is this... No, I'm going to ask you up front. Is this your first time telling this publicly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we're going through stuff, we don't talk to people about it. When we come out of it, we don't talk to people about it. I went through the same thing with our debt issue.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, I mean, people around us kind of knew, but for a long, I didn't own it.
Yeah. It's a
And,
shame factor. Mm-hmm.
God, is it really?
Yeah.
And I'm, here I am trying to coach people how to get out of debt, and then kind of tell people, yeah, I was $370,000 in debt at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got all the answers of how to get in.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know how to get out, but I got all the answers how to get in. But so you sit there and you think about, am I worthy of telling the story? And I imagine that you are a little nervous right now about how this is going to go.
Very.
Okay. Well, every time we've talked, every time I've seen you, every time we've interacted, you've had this way of making me, my wife, and everybody around feel seen and valued.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that come from?
It comes from a place where I know when I was at my pit, I did not feel seen or valued or anything of the sorts. And so I don't ever want other people to feel that. And so there's just something in me, like if I see where I can help somebody, it's like I dive head first. I can't help it.
We're kindred spirits in that way. That's the reason why I got into doing what I was doing. It was going through the process alone and thinking, I don't want anybody else to be alone in that same process. What can I do to guide them, walk by them, be next to them? But sometimes, to my detriment,
Yes.
it's too much. Like it's so heartfelt and heart-led that I get so emotionally invested that sometimes it's draining.
Yeah, that's happened.
No, what kind of? Yeah, it's definitely something. When you've been through hard seasons, you see people differently. You start recognizing when they're hurting, when they're doubting themselves. But you also start seeing the good in people that they don't see themselves. I've noticed that a lot lately too.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. I think when you go through something really bad, God teaches you, throughout the process, God teaches you how he sees you. And it gives you the ability to see others the way that you remember he saw you. So when I look at other people, I'm seeing them through the eyes of God, not through the eyes of myself. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. And I'm sitting on that for a second because it's powerful. All right. I'm going to play ignorant here. Can you say it again for me? Because I want to make sure I heard it right.
When I see people,
Yes.
it's like I can pick up if they're struggling. I can pick up if, okay, that person needs to be told that, you know, they look nice that day, or just any little thing. It's just these nudges, and people go through battles. They get low on themselves, and God sees them differently. You know, the human aspect of us, we want to immediately throw stones, judge people. That's what we do. And then the way God sees us is totally different. He sees us with love and affection, and, you know, like a little baby that's just been born before their innocence is stolen.
Sure.
That's how he still sees them.
And there's something about a positive interaction in somebody's day, even if it's just one positive interaction, something that they can lean back on and remember and build on. I was talking to somebody the other day about, you know, their struggles, and we came up with this thing where they were describing all the good things about themselves, and it was almost like it was the first time they were hearing themselves say it.
Yeah.
And we came up with this thing where, okay, you know what? Every morning when you get up, you say these 4 things to yourself in the mirror out loud.
Yeah.
And let's start with that.
Yeah.
And let's see how your day starts and progresses and how that feeling goes. And I think, I think that's going to be hopefully something that's going to be positive for them moving forward. But it's those positive affirmations. It's positivity. It's when we're doing things in, you know, when we're in the process of getting out of debt or run a plan, and we have these positive momentum things happening. And we can remember the positive. Oh, I did that. If I did that, I can do this.
Yeah.
But it's about doing that thing. The hardest thing is the getting started part, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Flipping the mindset.
Oh gosh, for sure. So you talked about encouragement, and you know, I'll give a little insight in here. When we had Gracie on, we talked about her reading the Bible all the way through, and I think it was her 3rd time then.
It's her 3rd time this year.
3rd time. Okay. And I had thrown out something that said, I have not done that.
Yeah.
And then you messaged me about a week or 2 later and said, I have something for you. And I came to the farmer's market, and you handed me a daily Bible for men to read once a day.
Yep.
And that encouragement. And because of that, it was the first time in probably, outside of the mandatory holiday and this and everything else, was probably the first time in a long time I went to church.
Yeah.
It was last past weekend. And I felt compelled to go. And it was just, I'm not overly, I would say I'm not overly religious in a sense. I grew up in Catholic church, modern day Catholic, Easter, Christmas, whenever else you can, and pray that Dad oversleeps in the morning and you miss Mass on Sunday.
Yeah.
So you can sleep in. God was good then. Just teasing. But yeah, it was something that I talked. Well, let me back up a second. When my dad passed away a couple years ago, I went back into a dark spot, dark place, and my wife suggested, "You got to talk to somebody." And in that process, we mapped out. It was like 10 things in your life, rank them from 1 to 10. It's like, where do your friends rank? Spirituality, your career, your relationships with others, relationships with your wife, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, when we first started, I said spirituality was like 9.
Yeah.
For me, it was right above relationship with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And the second part of the equation was, where do you want these to be? And for me, spirituality, I think, was 1 or 2. And I said, man, I got a long way to go.
It's the most important.
I got a long way to go.
But you're going to get there.
It's a
You're
long
on your
journey.
way
I'm on
already.
the journey. Yes.
You already started.
Exactly. I started down that path for sure. So there's a turning point for everyone. You know, they always talk about people hitting a rock bottom. You know, I'm in the shower getting blasted with cold water, wondering how the heck did I end up here? Your rock bottom looked a lot different. Paint us a picture of what was going on for you that got you to the point where you said, all right, I'm done. What's next?
I was going through a divorce. I was in this apartment shack. I don't even know what you call it. It was a decent apartment, I guess, back then. Probably not now, but I was abusing alcohol because that time, you know, I had always been the A honor roll kid. I had always been, you know, my parents always encouraged me. And it was the first time that I had just massively failed. And so, you know, my marriage had failed. I was an alcoholic, non-admitting at the time. And I just felt, why am I here? You know? So
and that snowballs and gets deeper.
It snowballs,
deeper,
gets deeper. At the worst, I was doing 2/5 bottles of vodka a day to the point where if I would go to the bathroom, it was blood because I was urinating. That's how bad I was doing it. And then I couldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't even talk to my mom and dad. They would call me. They would leave me voicemails. I still have some of the saved voicemails where my mom would call, and she had that mama's heart. She just wanted to know I was okay. And I would ignore the call just to get the voicemail.
Yeah.
But she would just say, I love you.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second, guys. No, I told you. Yeah.
And I had this mattress. I didn't even have a bed frame. I had a mattress on the floor that I was sleeping on. My lights had been cut off at one point. I was just in this apartment, alcohol, and I would cry, and I would pray to Jesus, and I would say, I can't do this. I need you to help me. And he helped me. He's the only one. It's the only way that I can be here today. It was all him.
What was the moment that you felt it was your prayers were heard, your cries were heard from Jesus?
My mom begged me to go back to church. I did not want to go back to church because it's part of that shame, you know, the guilt, the shame, you know, you're afraid of, you know, church people, quote unquote.
Yeah.
of judging you. Am I going to be condemned? They're going to look at me and they're going to say, oh, she's, doing this, and, why is she in the church house? That was my thought process, and it wasn't realistic. It's just Satan putting thoughts in your head, but that's what I thought, so I didn't want to go. And eventually, my mama is very persistent. My mom and dad both. And she talked me into it, and I went to church, and I think Damon Seal sung that morning, and I felt the God talking to me. My heart started beating out of my chest, and I was like, I've got to get to that altar. And I went to the altar, I prayed, and asked him, you got to fix this. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And things started changing then. The desires started to get less. I wasn't an overnight success story. I didn't, I would like to say, after that prayer, I went back and I never drank again. That's not true. I did. I didn't do it every day. It got less and less, but it took time. It wasn't like a switch that I could just turn off.
Mm-hmm.
People say, like, if they wanted to stop, they'd stop. It's not that easy.
Not that easy.
It's not that easy at all.
No.
And, wish it was.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah. I had a thing I talked about a while ago about that thriving in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of addiction thrives in isolation.
Yeah.
And that's where Satan gets you.
Yeah.
He
If he
isolates you from
can
everything.
isolate you from everybody, then he's got you to himself. If he can talk you into being by yourself and going down that road alone, then you don't have anybody else telling you, this isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually who you are, and it just spirals.
Used to be those cartoons where you had the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, but in those situations, it's the devil on both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 When you think of that season now, what stands out most for you? What circumstances, like the circumstances you were in, the way you felt inside, what stands out most for you?
Repeat that.
And that, when you think about that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
what stands out most for you in that time frame? Is there a certain circumstance, a feeling, an emotion that connects to that?
You're going to have to reword it. I don't know what you
Okay,
mean.
no worries. It's okay. Back then, so let's talk about back then, for example. You talked about a typical day. What were some of the moments that you tried to power through and pretend that things were okay? Was there any specific time where you had to mask your addiction? You had to mask that you were drunk. You had to mask those things.
I was high functioning.
Function, okay.
I would go to work and I would hide it in the bottle. I would hide it in bottles under the cabinet. Drink at work. I would fill my cup up before I left.
Mm-hmm.
Go back home so that I was already prepared. It was like the addiction was that bad. I would prepare, and like if it was a Sunday, like I can remember this one Sunday. That was back when you couldn't get alcohol on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
The liquor stores were closed, and I drove to Kentucky just to get alcohol.
Determined.
That's how bad I was addicted.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to face realities in my life. Mm-hmm. And so if I could just turn to the alcohol, it dulled it, it numbed it, it took the pain away. The failed marriage was gone. I could ignore it.
Wow. Wow. Did you ever have times, now this is just me seeing television and commercials and movies, hiding you're hiding in the toilet, you're hiding everywhere, you're hiding bottles around the house kind of thing?
Yeah, I would hide them in my car. My mom got a phone, conspired with somebody, got a phone, wrapped it in a baby diaper, silenced it, and they put Life 360 on the phone and hid it under the, like, you know, in the car you can pull the seat up.
Okay.
They hid it under the seat of that
So
that they could track me, so they always knew where I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how
Nowadays
much.
it's so easy with those little air tags.
Yeah,
Just do it.
yeah. But back
Man,
then it was they got a phone and they
that's
put
crazy.
Life 360 on it and they tracked me.
That's crazy. You mentioned your mom quite a bit. Now, what's your mom's name again?
Doris.
Doris. I love Doris.
Yeah.
She's always commenting and
Yeah.
hearting my stuff. Thank you, Doris. Appreciate you for supporting us. And I see where she gets her encouragement from.
Yeah.
You had mentioned feeling like everyone would be better off without you. Was that something that you kept hidden?
I kept
or
it
did
hidden.
people around you see the signs?
I think my mom and dad saw the signs. There was a day I had been drinking, and there was a day I drove to my parents' house. I knew where my dad's gun was, and so I took it. I drove back to my apartment. I drank, I cried, I prayed, and I sat there with that gun on the bed. And I thought, I was talking to God, and I said, it doesn't matter because I'm not worthy. My life's a mess. This is where this is going. I am this person. And there was a knock on the apartment door. And I thought in my head, who is here? And I go to open the door, and it's my mom and dad standing there. And he knew I had took his gun. He had, and I didn't leave any evidence of it. It was just a thought that he had that I had took his gun, and he went and checked for it, and it was gone. And they drove to where I was at the apartment, knocked on the door.
If that's not powerful as far as
That's God.
God getting involved.
Yeah. That's God.
Wow.
And that was probably right before I decided to take my mom's advice and go to church with her.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about being isolation. In that process, you're living with this heavy secret. The more you hide it, the heavier it gets. Did you feel that same kind of weight with the addiction? Just that heaviness of hiding it and needing to...
Yeah. Addicts, that's the thing people don't understand. Addicts don't want necessarily to be an addict. They don't know how to turn it off. They don't have, a lot of them don't have support systems. A lot of them don't have a mom like I had that's going to track me down, to make sure I'm safe.
Yeah.
Some people don't have that.
Were there times you pushed people away who were trying to help because it was just easier to be
Oh,
alone?
yeah. My mom took the brunt of that. My mom and dad both. And I say my mom a lot, but when I say my mom, it's really my mom and dad. But, yeah, I pushed them away a lot. I wouldn't talk. They would call me. I would ignore it. I would listen to the voicemails, and their voicemails would make me cry. My dad, he probably doesn't know this, but he wrote on a little sticky note. He had fixed me a plate of food, and he had wrote on a sticky note, "I love you, Jess, Dad," and I saved it because it meant something to me.
I love that.
So,
So that goes to the next question here of seeing moments where God was already at work, even though you might not have recognized it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's these little positive affirmations that let you know that people are still around you.
Yeah,
You're not isolated. You're not alone.
Yeah, it's like I would think I was alone. I would think that I was hidden. I would go park in a parking lot somewhere, and I would think I was alone, and here they'd show up. And for a long time, I couldn't figure out how my mom always knew where I was. I thought it was so weird. I was like, how does this woman know where I'm at all the time? And it was later down the road, after all this is over, she tells me the story of the phone, and I'm like, it clicked with me, like, that's how you knew where I was all the time.
So you're giving the secrets out. So Gracie, if she's listening, knows the secrets already. Yeah. Like, this is coming for you. You're
yeah.
Get tracked.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah, either that way or there's going to be something just going to little nano injected into her, and you know exactly where she's at all times. If you're hearing this story and you're thinking, I don't know if I can make it out, I want you to know you don't have to walk it alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we created the Prosperity Lounge community. It's free. It's full of resources, encouragement, and people who get it. Come by, check out our 8-step action guide to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Check out our prosperity planner tool, and just check out a place to connect. Make a connection. There's always going to be somebody there to talk to. You're never alone in this process, whether you're going through stuff financially, you're going through stuff personally, you're going through stuff with your business, whatever. Make a connection. Come on in. We're here for you. We're here to walk with you and guide you. So join us, prosperitylounge.com, and we'd love to have you there. So you're in that season. You hit that rock bottom. What were some of the first steps you had towards change? You mentioned going back to church.
Mm-hmm.
And that first big step. Well, walking in the door is one thing. Feeling it is another.
Yeah.
You talked about people, the thought process of what people might judge you.
Yeah.
And the first thing I was thinking when you said that a while ago, I was thinking, man, if that was the criteria to attend church,
yeah,
the pews would be empty.
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
It's always that glass house thing, right? It's
yes.
like, man, throw a stone.
Yeah. I thought, like, they're going to judge me. They're going to, I'll be the topic of everybody's lunch table is what my thought process was. And,
yeah.
But it was totally opposite. People shook my hand. You wouldn't have known that I had did anything. They treated me just like a normal person. And they had been praying for me. That's something I didn't know until after either, is my mom had asked for requests so much, I guess. The whole church was praying for me.
So they all knew you before you came in. They're like, finally, you're here.
Yeah, finally, she's here.
The praying person with you.
Yeah.
Oh man, when you experienced that, what was that feeling like?
I think Satan tries to tell us, it's that whole isolation thing you were talking about. He warps our mentality. He makes us think one thing when the truth is another, because mm-hmm. he's afraid and that's a lot of why he attacks you. If you're being attacked, that's a lot of the reason why he attacks you so hard, is because there's something within you that God wants to get out in the world. Mm. And if he can stop you from getting there, then he has hindered that. It's not ever going to stop God's purpose, but he has hindered it through you.
Wow. Okay. So how do you reflect on what you think God's purpose for you is? Some people, like you said, are encouragers. Some people are what? Like, how do you know what your purpose is?
I think you just find it along the way. I started reading the Bible, and it took, when I started reading the Bible, I started seeing who God actually was. He wasn't some, iron fist sitting on a throne. He actually loved me, mm-hmm. and he cared for me. And you can read different stories in the Bible. You know, you got David, you got Paul, you got the woman that was caught in adultery, you got the woman at the well, and he loved all of them. And they had massive sin. And he loved them. And he used them as they would go on to be incredible people and impact a lot of people. And I think a lot of people, they get caught up in whatever it is, you know, addiction's one of the vices. Don't let it stop you from moving forward, because I think there's something within you that you just don't realize yet.
Yeah, there's something to be said about being stuck in the mud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Keep plowing forward.
Just
You'll
keep
eventually
going.
make. And sometimes your progress is like it's millimeters, but it's still progress. You're still further than when you were first started.
Yeah, when I first started, I was like, okay, I went 1 day without drinking. Okay. And then it was, okay, I'm at 2 days.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you know, I would fail. And then I would be like, okay, I'm at day 1, no drinking.
Hang up one of those signs that says like 0 days. Like
Yeah.
in workplace things. Okay.
But
Start
eventually, it got to where I didn't even think about it anymore. I don't think about it now. You know, I don't put myself in situations. I know that it's still there. You know, it was a part of me. So I just don't go around it. I don't do it. And I don't think about it.
That's amazing. Because sometimes it's so hard to, you know, slip back up, especially like you said in situations. Some situations, it's. I'm gonna get called out here probably in the chat and online. I don't want to say it's trivial because you can remove yourself from certain things. Right? Just it's not there. Some addictions are harder to remove yourself from. Spending addictions. Well, got to spend money to live, so how do I control what I'm doing? It's not like you can be like, I have an alcohol addiction, I'm just going to have 1 drink a day.
Yeah.
You have to have nothing. You have to be not even near it sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's really hard
Yeah.
for anybody going through these type of struggles to navigate that process and normalize life for themselves. And I commend you to the utmost that you are who you are. Because I don't, you know, sometimes it takes going through something to be more of what you are.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
And I don't know if the Jessica who didn't go through the process and just a normal person would be sitting here next to me today.
She wouldn't be as encouraging. I used to be real shy like Gracie. I didn't want to talk at all.
Oh, man. So you talked about encouragement toward Jesus, daily mercy, slipping and starting over, reading the Bible, discovering God's love. You know, we talked about when we were buried in debt, those small steps and persistence. You know, I make a little progress, then I see something I want. Something would happen, go back to 0.
Yeah.
Being frustrated, but looking back and seeing how those small imperfect steps were still moving me forward. And you felt that too, inching towards freedom, and stumbling, but not staying down long.
Yeah.
Getting up and moving forward.
That's the thing. God knows we're not perfect. He knows we're flawed. And he already knows the steps we're going to make before we even make them. And I think it's the pride within us as humans is we think we can hide it, or we think we can, you know, dismiss it or whatever. And he just wants you to come to him.
Was there a moment when you were going through the process, getting a couple of days, slipping back, a couple of days, going here and there, when you said, or you knew, this time it's different?
Yeah, there was. It didn't feel good anymore.
Okay.
You know, the last time I drank, I remember I drank, and the next morning I felt terrible, not because of a hangover or anything, but because God, I've let you down again. I don't want to keep disappointing you because you've paid too much for me. And the desire was gone.
How, as a parent now, how much do you share? How much are you, obviously we're on the radio, so you're sharing a lot right now. But how much I don't want to say running cover. That's the wrong phraseology I want to use. But how much are you exposing or shielding or allowing them to see as a parent the situation that you went through?
They don't know like everything because, obviously they're still young. They don't fully, they wouldn't be able to understand. But they know that I went down a really bad road and that I made really bad choices. And, I tell Gracie and Emmy both, all you got to do is keep God first. When I was your age, I didn't read my Bible. I didn't know how he felt about me. But if you will store his words in your heart, then when the devil comes, because he's going to come after you, because you got something in you that needs to be out, he's going to come. When he comes, you're going to know what the truth is.
Wow. Okay. So I was going to ask what your advice for other parents would be, but I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
And you can get, that's the thing with other parents, the daily Bible, the same one I gave you, you can read it as a family, read it together. Each day, take time about reading it, talk about it, ask questions, learn together. And it's not only a bonding moment, but when you seek him, the Bible says, seek and you shall find. So if you seek him, you're going to find him.
So I know we're on the point now of the conversation where we are stepping towards, we're past where we were. We're moving towards recovery and faith. But I want to take a step back real quick because I was just thinking of something. When you decided, because it's for lack of a better word, decided to start drinking.
Yeah.
Was this something that was something you had experienced before when you were younger and went back to? Was there addiction in the family? Was there tendencies around there? Is just something that you saw and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do? Because a lot of times people just don't. Sometimes they kind of get addicted. Sometimes there's a line of like addiction in the family. And it's sometimes easier to get addicted.
There is a line of addiction on my mom's side, and then my dad had trouble with alcohol.
Okay.
When I was 3, he gave alcohol up when he got saved.
Okay.
And he got saved, he got baptized, he never drank again. When I got married when I was only 17, I hadn't been past literally Fountain City. I think we'd been to the beach one time. I was not experienced in anything. And he was in his 20s. He didn't have the same growing up as I did. Alcohol was normal to him. That's where it got introduced. I didn't know, the family gene thing was going to pop its head up. Okay. Neither one of us did. I don't think he would have introduced it if he knew everything that was going to transpire. But it did. And then when I couldn't handle it, he couldn't handle it either. He didn't know how to get me out of it, and it was a mess.
So for parents, what are some things that you could do for your child when you start seeing those same tendencies pop up? Now you recognize them. You can recognize them. What are some things that you suggest parents do in those situations? Obviously, we're talking, find faith and find something to pivot towards that you can see positivity in. Is there anything else that you would recommend that they start doing?
Like if they see, child
starts isolating themselves. There's a couple of things going on. It's like, it's the same path I went down.
Yeah. the worst thing you can do, you don't want to go down the condemnation road.
Okay.
You know, you don't want to be, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, finger pointing.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to meet them where they are and love them.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Meet them where they are.
Meet them where they are.
Yeah.
You know, and you can tell them, the biggest thing you can do is honestly, if you don't have the testimony to share, find somebody who's got the testimony that can talk to them.
Just be supportive. Find some resources for them. No blame.
No blame.
Support. Walk with them.
Yeah, because they already feel, if they're going down that road, they already feel the shame and the guilt and the condemnation. They're getting it from all sides. They don't need it from their support system too.
And that's a key word, their support system.
Yeah, you are the
Letting them know
support
they
system.
have the support system.
Mm-hmm. And then the best thing you can do, because it's out of your hands, at that point, if they're going down the same road I went down, only God's going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you can do is pray.
The only thing you can do is pray. I love that. It's
Yeah.
a powerful phrase.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so now we've walked through everything. You've walked through this whole process. You start getting out. You're on your pathway to recovery. I think I titled the episode Addiction, Faith, Recovery, and Encouragement. So we did addiction, we talked about faith. Now we're in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Recovery leading to encouragement. How do you live out this mission now to encourage others?
I just want people to know how important they are. I want people to know that, you know, it's more than just, you know, marking a checkbox and climbing the success ladder.
Mm-hmm.
You're impacting people. And when we get to heaven, you know, the Bible says, store your treasures up in heaven, not on earth. He doesn't want you accumulating a bunch of wealthy stuff on earth. Be more focused about progressing the kingdom of heaven. So.
I love that. I'm saying I love that a lot because you're giving some great insights and things that I'm going to take away, and I know I'm going to think about a lot this weekend. I'm going to let people in on a little inside. When you handed me my daily Bible read,
Mm-hmm.
there was a fantastic handwritten letter inside that I cried.
Aww.
I have it framed in the
Aww.
house, along with my framed Gracie autograph
Oh, yeah.
newspaper. I love that. But you told a story in there about encouragement. And it was something that I was struggling with doing the show here
Mm-hmm.
and living my life trying to help others and seeing, is this all worth it? Am I just doing this to 5 people?
Right.
The same 5 people every week coming up and saying hi. My mom, my wife, Vance,
Mm-hmm.
your mom.
Yeah.
By the way. It's so odd, but we got a lot of people in here tonight, so thank you all for joining. But you told this story about, I think it was the lepers.
Yeah.
And Jesus healing them,
Mm-hmm.
and only one coming back to say thank you, and it was the one that shouldn't have come back to say
Yeah,
thank
he
you,
was a
but came back,
Samaritan.
but he came back to say thank you, and that enough was like to understand that there was a difference that was made.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Jesus needed the affirmation.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he was like, oh,
Yeah.
man, that's what's going on here. Nobody's saying thank you. He knew it, but for us, sometimes it's doing. I think they say doing things in the dark or doing things behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and whether or not people. Let me take that back. There's certain types of people who do it for the affirmation,
Yeah.
and they feed off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people who just do it to do it. I do think the majority of us are a little mix of both.
Yeah.
The reason we need the affirmation is we need the positivity to keep going.
To keep going.
To
Exactly.
know that it's not so much to know that I made a difference, but know
Yeah.
that you heard me and say, hey, so people in the chat saying thank you, it's like, yeah, all right, cool. People are here. Appreciate you. Have fun. Thank you. But, I was thinking about that a lot, that encouragement aspect, and that I read that every so often. I have a picture of it on my phone that I look at and I read it. So I go, thank you for
Yeah.
that. And that all came from we've probably have known each other a total of 4 hours.
Yeah.
The amount of time we spent together, and I feel like we've known each other 40 years.
Yeah.
You're not 40. I'm just saying 40
Yeah.
years.
I'm close.
Don't date yourself. You're 29. I'm going on 29. But
There's a I saw a picture on Facebook earlier this week, and it was this rock, this big boulder,
mhm.
and it was this massive tree had grown and split this rock in half. And then the meme said, "Never underestimate the power of planting a seed."
Oh,
So that tree, that little seed that, was planted, grew up to be this big old tree that split this rock wide open.
oh man, I love that. That's powerful.
So,
It reminds me of when people tell people that you can't do something, and you plant that seed into them at a young age, and they grow up to change the world.
yep.
Man, that tree. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of something we realized after we got out of that was, freedom wasn't just about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's about giving me the space to encourage others and to help others succeed in ways I couldn't before. Because I can, they have the old saying is, when people are younger and they're doing well, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. So
Yeah.
the people that came before you, people who've paved this path to help others have a little bit easier of a time.
Yeah.
We get so wrapped up in me, that we don't realize that if I don't move forward a certain way, people behind me get stuck.
Yeah.
And you have been huge at moving forward and pulling people behind you. I mean,
I just really want to propel others. And that's the thing. If you push other people, then, you're going to go with them, but you're changing generations. You're changing their kids,
right,
the people behind them,
changing that family tree,
It's more about that
the legacy.
than anything.
Yeah, well, what you've done so far and how you've encouraged Gracie, and I have not met your other daughter yet.
Amy Jo, she's Spitfire.
Not met her yet, but I hear her chickens
Yeah, her chickens.
are a thing.
She's got chickens. She's trying to talk Ryan into getting goats.
Goats.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not even trying to talk him into it. She just tells him we're going to have goats,
Well, get goat milk out of it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Soap.
Oh, yeah. So you live off the land.
Yeah.
But what you've done and how just a fantastic young woman Gracie is. And I can imagine Amy Jo being the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's laughing.
We call it maintenance for a reason.
Maintenance. Okay. You heard it here first, folks. We're calling her out. That goes a long way for you and Ryan, who's sitting over there in the corner, your better half right now, who
Yeah.
propelled this journey of Gracie's when you needed 150 cakes.
Yeah, he had to sacrifice his oven. Entire kitchen, really.
Oven and a few pounds and a couple pairs of pants and a
Yeah.
belt, probably.
Yeah, he tells her, he says, Gracie, I'm going to be 500 pounds.
Yep. What shows her stuff is good.
Yeah.
It's a walking billboard.
Yeah.
No, but I what you're doing, how you're doing it, it's a breath of fresh air. And for someone like myself who doesn't have any kids, seeing that the next generation is going to be okay
Mm-hmm.
with people like her leading the way,
Mm-hmm.
I can rest easy.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for that.
She loves people. Amy Jo, too.
Well, when her chicken and goat business picks up, we're going to have her on the show, I guess.
You heard that, Em.
There you go. Open invite.
Yeah.
How do you balance encouraging others with protecting your own mental and spiritual health?
It gets tough sometimes. Kind of like in the letter I wrote to you. some of that comes from personal. You encourage people, you do everything, you think you're helping them and getting them where they need to be, and they take off, and then you're still left. You don't always get that thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to learn to be okay with that.
Yeah. So before we actually move on to the actual questions, because that's one of my favorite times, and we're getting close to the top of the hour already, I did have a question from the chat real quick here, and it kind of goes back to what we're talking about. Is there ever anything that might trigger a craving in you for a drink?
Well, I'm sure there would if I went to a bar or something.
Putting yourself in a situation.
Surrounded myself with it, but I don't really think so now. Honestly, I'm not going to test it.
Right.
But I think I'm strong enough at the point now where it wouldn't even bother me if I was in it, but I ain't going to test that.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm not going to go out and buy $1,000 something just to see if I feel like being in debt.
Yeah.
Just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good question. So now, the reason I wrote you in the first place to come on the show was to talk a little bit about real estate.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask a little bit about that. Your transition into real estate is sort of another natural way of helping others find their dream home and their life and set up their roots and things like that. Was this sort of something that was just natural for you to get into and think about? Like
the sales part, kind of, I came from insurance, so I was selling life insurance and Medicare. And so that part I was already used to. And then with real estate, it's really, I had give it up. I didn't think I would be good at it. I had got my license. I had let it sit, didn't do anything with it. And then I met Ryan. We got married, and he's like, "Why didn't you do anything with your real estate license?" And then I was like, I don't know. It's just kind of a side thing. I'd rather do Medicare. And then I started doing real estate, and the first ones I did was expired listings. And so I would help them where, their house had been on the market. They didn't have a good experience. It had expired. And then I would literally sell it in 30 days. So
wow.
I've been doing it 2 years in February actively, and we've done 15 sales in a year and almost a year and a half.
Wow.
4 last 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
So
that is awesome. I had a follow-up question, but I can't think of it now.
nobody wants to talk about real estate, Joey.
I know. No, apparently I don't either, because the question just slipped out of my head. Man. Okay. Well, I'm not going to drag this on trying to figure it out here live on the air, but we'll just move on to the next question. All right. So one of my favorite segments of the show is my Q&A. We get some people to send in some questions through the internet, through Facebook, Instagram, apparently Twitter or X, whatever it is now.
Oh, yeah?
Whole bunch of places. YouTube, they send some comments. I usually post a show ahead of time. People say, hey, I got a question. So I got some questions for Jessica that came in. First one is from Steve in Chattanooga, who asked, how do you keep encouraging others when you're still facing your own challenges?
I don't think the challenges are ever going to stop. I mean, until we reach heaven, then we're going to be in a world, and the world is filled with sin and turmoil and grief that you're going to have to fight through. So it's just being the light of the earth.
All right. Maria from Bristol, Virginia wants to know, what would you say to someone who feels like they've messed up too much to come back?
Oh, you're never too far gone. And that goes back to what I was saying, how God looks at us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're a mother, you have your newborn baby, you can look at that baby and you're just filled with, admiration and love to that child. And you're going to, Gracie could do something massively wrong right now and I would still love her. Emmy Joe, I would still love them. There's nothing that could take that love away, and that's how he looks at us. We're his children.
Yeah, and if you're watching this, Maria, I mean, there's two people on your screen right now. If you're listening to two voices that have probably messed up way too much.
Yeah, I messed up a lot.
And we're back.
Yeah.
We're here. We're talking to you right now. Just proof that there's life on the other side of whatever you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to connect, just feel free to reach out. And we'll make a connection.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb in Johnson City wants to know, when you were in that low season, what was that first small step you took towards change, the thing that gave you a little hope?
Started seeking God. That's where the hope comes from. If you don't have God, you don't have hope. You got to have God.
And Caleb, if you were asking for a really long, drawn-out answer on that question, you got the simplest, most powerful answer you can get.
Yep. It's all God.
All right. Teresa in Knoxville asked, how do you keep your faith strong when new struggles pop up?
I pray, and I keep reading the Bible.
Okay.
You read the Bible every day. Like if you get in that habit, then stuff will pop up and you'll be instantly reminded of a verse that will, just take over your thoughts. The bad thoughts that come in, you'll be reminded of that verse. Okay, I'm not going to think that way. I'm going to think this instead, because that's the truth.
So I was going to ask if there is and I've seen this happen before, and I think I talked to Gracie about it when she was on. So is there ever a time where you were struggling in, or just whatever you're going through, and you open your Bible in the morning and that passage just made the most sense for what you were going through? Mm-hmm. So I assume that happens a lot.
One time in particular I can remember, I don't remember what, you're going to have to call on the pastor because I don't remember the verse, but in the beginning, after I had got sober, I struggled with a lot of regret and that shame, and so I was reading the Bible one day and it was talking about the, drunkards, adulterers will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. But then it was Paul talking to the church, and he said, and such were some of you, but you were bought, paid for with a price, redeemed. So there is forgiveness. It doesn't matter what you've done. You're never too far gone.
I love that. Yeah, that is powerful, and that's something you can go back to. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you see that day, but you can find passages that you can connect with, and then just kind of remember and recite and go for there. Oh, I do remember the question now.
Okay.
Thank you. I was redeemed on that question. When we talked about coming on, and your hesitation, I'm putting words in your mouth here. Hesitation of presenting who you are, with this new professional exterior of who you are, and seeing how people might judge you differently.
Yeah.
Now that you've been on and tell this story, how do you feel?
I had already kind of dismissed it. I said basically, well, work with me or don't. He paid too much of a price for me. I'm going to do what he tells me to do. So.
Yeah. And by the way, she can get you a good deal on a house. So
yeah, I can. Call me up.
Well, we are almost at the top of the hour here. So Jessica, I want to thank you for sharing your story. Mm-hmm. If you're listening out there and you feel like you're at the bottom, hear this. You are not too far gone. There is mercy for tomorrow, and there are people who will walk with you until you can see it for yourself. If you want to connect with Jessica, I'm assuming I'm putting it out there that people can connect with you. If you'd like people to connect with you, where can they find you to connect?
Facebook. You can call my cell phone. I don't know if you want to give out my cell phone number.
That's on you. I would just say connect on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, website, but yeah. Any of that, even if it's, it doesn't have to be real estate.
No, absolutely.
If you need someone to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can't find her on Facebook, just look up any one of my posts on my page, and there's usually a heart or a like from her, and you can connect that way. And that's great. Or you can look up this episode because she's tagged in that too, and you can find her that way. So there you go. And remember, out there, you can always join our free community at theprosperitylounge.com. If you felt inspired by the episode, or you know someone going through pain themselves, share the episode with them. This one act can have a profound, lasting impact on their journey. That's planting that seed.
Mm-hmm. Plant the seed.
So until next time, everybody, stay faithful, stay fearless, and remember, freedom lives where faith and action meet. The lounge is always open, and so is your next breakthrough. This is the Prosperity Lounge.
Pull up a chair. The journey's